Koine Greek, and welcome. Today we're in John chapter 3, taking a look at verse 6, finishing off this page. I think this marks about halfway through the paragraph. I could be off by a verse or two there. This is our rubric, everything we're looking for, apart from that here. As we go through this text, let's go ahead and get started. To gegenemenon ekte sarkos sarx estin, kai to gegenemenon ektu pneumatos pneuma estin. Me thaumases hoti eponsoi de humas genethenai anothen. So I guess we're also doing verse 7. I missed that 7 there. Getting started, we're going to find our verb first, and while this does have a verbal root, it is not our verb, so we're going to move on from there. Ek, that's a preposition. That's going to start a prepositional phrase. Te, sarkos, sarx and sarkos don't match, so our prepositional phrase has to be end right there. We'll get to that in a minute. Estin, this thing we've seen before with its movable nu, which appears before vowels and at the end of clauses. So yeah, that comma is perfect right there. This is a third person, singular, present, active, indicative verb, and it can act as indication of existence, or it can act as a linking verb. So since it's at the very end of the clause, I would assume not indicating existence, but instead linking two things together. Now, we go back to the beginning. We've got to, from ho, he, to, meaning that this could be either a nominative singular or an accusative singular. Estin doesn't take an accusative except when it's in its infinitive form, so accusative is unlikely. Looking over here, we've got ekte sarkos. That could be what is connected with here, but then we've also got sarx alone. And that xi right there should be our first warning that this is not any old case. We would really only find xi as the last letter of a word if it were nominative, or if the word itself is neuter, then as the accusative. But sarx is actually feminine, so this is nominative singular, not accusative, which then means ekte sarkos is just additional information about the sentence, not what estin is linking to. And then that means that to gegenemenon is also nominative, but in this case, neuter. So nominative, singular, neuter. This gamma epsilon right there is a reduplication off of our verbal stem, genao, the same thing that we had right there. So we know that this is actually going to be perfect tense. But the not meme, that's Hebrew. My brain's scrambled right now. Mu epsilon nu, that is our participial ending, telling us that it is middle or passive. Nominative, singular, neuter, perfect, middle, passive, participle. Very clear one. That's nice. So then we want to try it out both as middle and as passive to see which one fits the context better. So we've got flesh, which is, I almost wrote down fresh. Oh boy. That is happening a lot more lately. That's just weird. Okay, so the having been born, if it's passive, or the having given birth for itself. Well, our first warning marker, the second translation isn't right, is this is neuter. Neuter things don't give birth to other things. Only female things do that. So, yeah. Second one doesn't really make much sense, but the having been born is flesh. The having given birth for itself is flesh. Okay, flesh is feminine, so that still doesn't make sense because then we would expect this to be neuter. So I'm going to go with the first translation. The having been born. And since it's perfect, we could read this in a way where it happened in the past, but it's having continued effect until the present. So it had been born flesh, and up until now it is still flesh. That's what the perfect there could tell us. So continuing on, present effect is, but we want to move this right there. Now handling ekte sarkos, that is, omicron sigma there, the third declension, and tes right there tell us that ek, as it should, takes the genitive, singular, and feminine from the article right there, from or of the flesh is flesh. Now we can move on to our next clause, kai and to gagenemenon. It's the exact same thing right here, so I'm going to pull that down. Just translate it again. The having been born. So it's going to have the same idea right there. The having been born equal to pneumatos, pneuma estin. It's going to have the same idea. Had been born this, continues to be this up until now. To pneumatos, omicron sigma right there. We saw that right here, so we know it's genitive. Don't need to parse that again. And it just means from or of, just like previously, or out of. The spirit, pneuma estin, pull that down. I'm going to swap them, is spirit. Okay, so that ends verse 6. So, what had been born in the past is flesh until now, of the flesh. And what had been born of the spirit is spirit until now. You can't see my hand, so those motions are pointless. Oh well. May is a negative, so that means not, but I'm going to hold off on translating that until we know what the verb exactly is. No augmenting vowel. We've got a sigma here instead of the zeta that this word actually starts out with, thaumadzo. So this could be future, or it could be aorist. Eta sub iota sigma is our ending. And we wouldn't really find that with the future. No augmenting vowel with a probable aorist tells that this is going to be subjunctive. So, second person, sigma tells us that, at least in this aorist. At other times, the second person is just the eta sub iota, and I don't remember that those forms are. Sorry. Singular, aorist, and this is active, and not indicative, it is subjunctive. Hoti just means that. So with a subjunctive, there are a couple different options for us to translate it. There's not really enough room here, except, no, yeah, this could be an apodosis. If this is the prodosis, we don't have any word particle for if, so I'm going to hold off on translating that until we know what the rest of this says. That, apon soy we saw up here, so you don't need to parse it again. To you, apon omicron nu, lego ero apon. So this could be a first-person singular aorist, or it could be a third-person plural aorist. Since we know only one person is speaking right here, and it is the first person speaking, third-person plural doesn't make sense. So first, singular aorist, active, indicative. I said to you. And then we get this next clause. Day is an interesting word, the principal parts of which I think are dao or daomai. It's got to be dao, because this isn't in a middle passive form. Yeah, I don't remember the principal parts. If I have time, I'll put them at the bottom of the screen right there. So day here is a third person singular, and it is present, active, and indicative, and this is a impersonal verb usually, so it almost only appears in the third person. Think of the word it in Latin. That one is one of them. Inquit is another one in Latin that does that. I can't think of the other Greek words that do it, but oh well. And it just means it is necessary, it is proper. So humas, alpha sigma right there, and then I've got my card again. Humas, where did that go? Aha! Epsilon iota sigma, naturally be the nominative plural. And then humas, upsilon mu alpha sigma, which matches that right there as our accusative plural. This is something really that you should work to have memorized. I think I got those memorized. It's pas that I don't have memorized. Oh well. So that's accusative, plural. And then it's masculine or feminine, we don't know. So, y'all. Yes, y'all. to use the not quite southern. Genetheini, we've seen this one before on our previous pages. That theta right there tells us that it's an aorist passive. Eta nu alpha iota is the aorist passive infinitive. To be born, no, well, technically, be born once, or to have been born. To have been born would probably be closer to the real idea, except this aorist, it's not really telling us time, it's just telling us aspect. But I'll write both, because I don't remember what I wrote on the previous pages. Have been born once. And then anothen we've seen before, that is I want to say it's an adverb, and it just means from above. Was it earlier in this page? No, it was not. So there we have it though. Just translating this, it is necessary. And technically this could also mean again. What is that? Gosh, my brain. I'm reading too much. As if there is such a thing. Words are scrambled. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look at it at verse 6 to the end here, and then from verse 1. The having been born of the flesh is flesh, and the having been born of the Spirit is spirit. Sorry. And this is going to be hortatory and exhortation. Do not do this. That's what I missed. Don't wonder once that I said to you, it is necessary for y'all to have been born, to be born once from above. And that could be the end of our quote. I'm going to leave that until we take a look at the next passage next week. Now, from verse 1. But there was a man of the Pharisees, Nicodemus was named him, of leaders of the Jews. This man came to him at night, and he said to him, Rabbi, we know that from God you have come a teacher, for no one is able to do these signs, which you yourself do, unless the God is with him. Jesus answered and said to him, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless someone has been born from above, he is not able to see the kingdom of the God. And I did has for that one, so I'm probably going to change that for the last page. He says, the Nicodemus says to him, how is a man able to be born once? I've got the present there, so I guess I'm leaving it. Being old. Surely he is not able, where did the verb go? To enter once into the womb of his mother, and to be born once. Jesus answered, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless someone has been born once from water and spirit, he is not able to come into the kingdom of the God. The having been born of the flesh is flesh, and the having been born of the Spirit is spirit. Don't wonder once that I said to you, it is necessary for y'all to be born once from above. And there you have it. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at this has been helpful for you, and I hope you don't have the spelling problems I do. Have a good day. Hey, not asleep yet? That's okay. I've got tons of other videos that are equally sleep-inducing. Check them out. Alternatively, you could take a look at this video over here.